Hi, my name is Cindy Rang.
I'm Brianna Motzkus, and today's FabriChat.
Hey.
Hi.
All is right with the world.
I know. All back to normal. Crazy.
Back to normal and crazy. I have to say first that I know you never really look at the YouTube comments, do you?
Mm-hmm. No.
You really should, because it was so nice, because so many people said, "Oh, Cindy, welcome back." And then every single one right afterwards said, "Brianna did such a good job."
Ah, thanks, guys.
Brianna did such a good job. Brianna did such a good job. So anyway, they were super supportive. So
awesome.
All of us that were gone, we didn't get a chance to see very much, but it sounds like you did great. So, and some were even kind of specific. So how did you do box opening by yourself? Did you do it by yourself?
Yeah, mostly because Tracy was sick.
Oh, that's right.
How we have the shop set up, it's hard to do it while we're open. So I did it usually before we opened, because then, everyone has questions for me or don't know why I'm talking to myself, as you saw on Sunday. It's just something that happens. So I find that the best, and the girls are also happiest, of course, in the morning. They've had their breakfast. They can play for about an hour and a half with themselves with no issues. And so it just was easier for me. So yeah, we did it from the other side, and I don't know, I just did it.
Gosh, you worked so hard. I sure appreciate it. Oh my gosh, was good. Well, and you will be justly rewarded, because we came home with did I already mention this? I think I mentioned it in the Sunday box opening. We have a full-size suitcase. Dad had to load it in my car. It's in my car. And so we got all kinds of presents for you.
Oh,
so we should try to, maybe we could do that today, because Harper knows that there's presents for her.
She is dying
in
for
that
them.
suitcase, and she's been relentless.
Yes.
About, does she get a present today?
Mm-hmm. Is it Wednesday today? Because we told her Wednesday. You can have it Wednesday. Is it Wednesday?
Yeah, so we'll open that today, film it today, but I don't know if they'll be able to see it today or not. Maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe not until tomorrow.
Maybe not tomorrow. Yeah.
Watch for it. And it'll be I guess we'll call it our suitcase opening. And there's some really fun things in there. So we got
I'm excited to see
every
all of
place we toured.
The Indonesian boutiques.
The boutiques, yeah. We brought back boutiques for everyone and bought back all kinds of fun stuff for everyone. And it was kind of fun because Pa was helping us shop. And so he's a good shopper. He likes presents. And in fact, kind of a funny thing, you notice my necklace?
Yes.
This is my Valentine's. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Happy Valentine's Day.
And not only Happy Valentine's Day, Happy birthday,
It's
Tracy!
Tracy's birthday!
Let me see your present.
It looks like the Titanic diamond.
It is. It's the Titanic.
It's diamond.
It's gorgeous. Beautiful.
Ruby. No.
Ruby. Yeah.
Sapphire.
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 It's a sapphire.
Ruby red. It's none of those things. But what it is we went, when we were in Long Kwai, I think was where we were. I don't remember. We went into a pearl factory.
Oh, I
Place.
love that. That is so cool.
It was really fun. And it wasn't a touristy one. It wasn't where everyone else was going. So it was
Which are
really
the best ones to go to.
The best one. They see that American money coming and all of the price tags change. So, no, we went in. It was really, really nice. So we went in there really lovely. All of us just bought a ton of stuff. And Dad, he's just such a sweet guy. Because as we walked in, he says, "Hey, your birthday is coming up." And Valentine's Day. And I said, yeah, it is. And so off he goes, And so I'm looking at things, and I feel like I have fairly simple taste. I was looking at just a simple chain with a pearl on it, and I was looking at stuff. So after, I don't know, a couple minutes, he comes back and he says, "Okay, I think I found it." He says, "But it'll have to be your birthday and Valentine's Day." And I'm thinking, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, exactly. It was massive. It was like this big, and it was a pin. It had like sprays of diamonds and pearls, and I think there was, I don't know, sapphires, rubies, I don't know, but all kinds of things. And I said, "Oh, well, that is beautiful." That's really nice. And it was like this, I think he searched for the most expensive thing in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I said, "Well, that is kind of expensive. And he says, yeah, but don't you think it's kind of an investment piece? And I said, well, it would be. And I said, but keep in mind, if you're buying me an investment piece, you're buying it for Brianna.
But a bump.
And he says, oh. And I said, why don't you buy something that I would wear? Because I'm not so sure that I would wear, that.
It was beautiful.
Was beautiful. And he says, oh, yeah, okay. So then he kind of redoes it, and he points out a couple things. And I was feeling really bad. It's like, And then he found this.
I think that was pretty.
And I said, I think it does look like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you do wear color, it's blue.
It's blue. Yeah. So it's sterling silver. But this is nothing special. I said, oh, what's the stone? He goes, oh.
Just
so can I make up a story that it's some sort of long kwai gem that's only mined here? And he goes, oh, yeah, absolutely. That's not what it is, but that'll be my story.
Very cool.
And I really like it. So I think Dad was disappointed to find out that in American money it was like $56 or something. It was like super, super cheap. But that's a good thing.
It doesn't matter.
Really a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway. So happy Valentine's Day. Happy birthday, Tracy.
Thank you.
Good day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes. Yes. So let's see, and then we have tons and tons of questions. So they seem to have really loved the first batik video.
Yes.
And really, really loved the second batik video.
I thought that Hoffman one was really cool. I sat and watched it.
Yeah.
While Robert was watching pregame for the Super Bowl. And then he was appalled that I had questions. And he couldn't answer my questions.
Yeah.
Of the football. It's like, how do you not know? Because the biggest thing they kept talking about is the father and son duo. I still don't understand. Was it a coach who had a son on the opposing team? Was it? I still don't remember. And he could not tell me. And they talked about it all pregame.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. And I guess I could go look it up, but
that had to have been a coach and a player.
I'm pretty sure it was the coach and a player, but I don't think it was on his team.
Okay, and what was the deal with somebody? Was it Taylor's boyfriend who hit his coach?
Okay, there's a whole lot of, yes it was. But he did not hit him. It was a whole...
Because I saw the clip, he was just like yelling in his face.
Yeah,
right?
it was super forceful. And he caught his coach off guard. Keep in mind, Reed has been his coach for 10 years. I don't know how long he's been on the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. So he came in hot. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly what they said. My guess is it seemed like he was irritated because he wanted to be put in.
He wanted to be put in because
he wanted in because they didn't... It was a tense moment anyways, all over the world. But... So it was. He nudged into his coach, but not in, I wouldn't say in an aggressive, I think it was just an emotional heat of the game moment. I don't think it was a great, he was a little embarrassed that we all saw it on TV when they asked about it at the end of it, but it was just between him and his coach. And even his coach said it's okay. We're a family, and it wasn't mean, it wasn't intended mean, it was just a hot emotional moment, and we're good.
Yeah. And that's what I saw was because I kept seeing that it was assault, that he assaulted, and then I saw the coach's response, and the coach said it was perfectly okay. You have to let your player be who they are. Yeah. And sometimes they're emotional and in the heat of the moment in the game, and that was what he was saying was put me in and I'll score. Yeah. Put me in. And that was what it was. And the coach said, what's your guys' problem with this? So anyway.
It's because we just saw that little glimpse. Yeah. We saw just the physical reaction, not the actual thing. And then you also see that little clip of one of the teammates telling Kelsey to get away, back off. So it made you think that there was going to be a confrontation, but I didn't see it that way. I just know, I have a wrestler and a footballer that I'm married to, and there's and we are both very competitive, so I understand the heat of the moment.
The adrenaline. Yes. And they did win.
They did. By 3 points.
Wow.
Overtime.
Wow.
It is. Only, they had...
So maybe it was a good game.
It was a very good game. It could have been... I feel like the Chiefs' defense maybe needs a little bit of work. I don't know. I felt like it could have been a different game, but I thought it was really great. I enjoyed watching it. I, of course, did go for the Chiefs. I've never been a 49ers fan, but their new quarterback it's kind of a really cool story. He was the last one picked on the, when they did the draft. He was the last one. He was a rock star quarterback. He's got a really cool journey ahead of him, and I'm excited to watch him. And
that's good.
Mahomes is really good too. He's the was it the third quarterback who's ever went back-to-back Super Bowl besides Tom Brady? So
are you asking me?
Yeah. No, I know you don't know
sports,
but it's very cool. It's very cool. So I'm excited. I enjoyed the game. It was really fun to watch, and for them to tying up and.
See, I'm the one that is either in the kitchen or the
She wants the commercials.
and I run out during the commercials.
I feel like the commercials aren't as good as they used to be.
Oh, that's too bad.
When 10 years ago when we were all at home and that's all we did was we just did football food for commercials, they were fantastic. Mm-hmm. They're a little, no.
I think we might have to be a little too politically correct now, maybe to be funny. Do you think? Although maybe. I saw one that had Woody Harrelson. Did they show that one? That was like...
I don't know if I saw Woody
naughty.
Harrelson.
Oh, you didn't see? Mm-mm. Oh, maybe because I think I saw it on, I don't know, YouTube or TikTok or something, and it was hilarious, but I kept thinking, ooh, not a primetime TV commercial. Because it was about checking for colorectal cancer.
Nope.
Oh.
Didn't see that one.
Well, Google it. Because it was funny.
And maybe I missed it.
Super funny, but like...
I could have missed it, but...
Inappropriate. Not family rated commercial. Funny. So it was, maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was some sort of Saturday Night Live thing. I don't know. I sometimes get those mixed up a little bit. Oh, well, search for it. I'll find it for you later, but we won't share it here because it's
funny, but not inappropriate.
Fairly PG. Yeah. Anyway, kind of funny. So anyway, yeah. So, we always get so distracted. We were going to answer questions.
Yes.
So hopefully that answered all of your Super Bowl questions. All I knew is that I am a Taylor Swift fan. Believe it or not, I think she has a lot. She's a good. I like her.
Yeah,
I like her. She does a lot of. She donates every city that she goes in. She makes huge donations to homeless shelters, food banks. What's the other? The trifecta, animal shelters.
Yeah.
She's a good person. She's got a ton of money, but it was kind of funny that not all anybody, but my few little comments that I saw was supposedly the outfit she was wearing was worth $78,000.
Oh, I have no
idea. So
I don't care.
She's a bazillionaire.
She was standing right next to Blake Lively. Do you see all that gold chains on her?
I know, right? I mean, who cares? I don't care about any of that.
I love seeing Blake Lively up there. I'm a fangirl of Blake Lively. I've had been forever.
Did you? I love her. I like her. Yeah, I like her a lot. And then did you see when they did they were doing I guess it was the celebrity pan, and did you see when they showed who was the guy that was on The Fly and, oh gosh, I'm so bad at remembering people's names. He does the apartment.com commercials.
Oh, yes. I saw his commercial, but I didn't see him in the stands.
I don't know what made me see it. I don't know if it was, again, just some sort of weird scrolly thing, and they were showing they showed Martha Stewart, and they showed a bunch of things, and I think that was what I saw. And he stood up, and he was so excited, and did a little heart. I thought that was
very great.
Really humble, really kind of nice. I liked that. But anyway, all right, so Super Bowl... questions aside, I missed the whole thing. I just wanted Taylor Swift's boyfriend to win. So couldn't tell you. Kelsey is his name, apparently.
Travis Kelsey. Yeah.
Travis Kelsey. Mm-hmm. Travis is his name.
Yeah. His brother
and he has a brother.
Yeah.
Does his brother play football?
Yes, he does. He is for the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
They played Super Bowl off together last year.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was good. He was there too.
Yeah.
Partying up.
He seems kind of fun.
Yeah.
He seems like a cut up a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that what he is? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we have tons and tons of questions. And so this was what my concern was going to be, is that we try to keep FabriChat at about 45 minutes. So I'll try to make it kind of fast. But I kind of also think that we may still answer more questions because
sure.
It was an 11-day cruise, but we were gone because of our little side trips before and after, we were gone for 16 days. And so that is a lot. I took tons and tons of pictures, tons of videos, and there's a lot of things. It truly was, we were in search of iCat, Songcat, Batik, but lots of other interesting things. And so, in fact, because that was one of the things was that somebody had said, I took pictures of all the questions I was going to answer this morning, but one person said that last morning when we were all not all, a fourth of us had made it down to breakfast, and I think we were just sort of panning across. We were doing a fruit thing, and then it turned into what was your favorite thing, and it kind of morphed a little bit. And then somebody said, well, we didn't hear what your favorite thing was. And I was almost kind of thinking that I said it on Sunday, but now I'm going to start forgetting what have I told you and what have I told you. But I loved the Batik. I loved Hoffman. I loved. I mean, 10 out of 10. All of those experiences were absolutely fantastic. I loved the people, 10 out of 10, fantastic people. But my favorite really was Bora of Badur. I mean, it was an interesting thing, and just so such a magical, reverent place. It was just amazing. Not at all what you think.
No, I didn't think it was from the pictures that
not
we shared.
What you think.
That is not what I thought.
No.
I thought way more
remote.
Jungle. I thought jungle.
That's what we all thought, because that's what we knew the story
And dirt.
was that it was built 2,000 years ago, and then something had happened and it was overgrown by the jungle, and then it was discovered by a German archaeologist or something in the early 1800s, and it took them forever to unearth it. And so I sort of thought, okay, trekking through the jungle, I'm going to need my bug spray, I'm going to need the right kind of shoes. Now, we drove up to it. Yeah, machete. Exactly. Now, we drove up to it, and there was this beautiful kind of cottage style hotel that was right there, and this outdoor dining area, and we sat and had lunch, beautiful, wonderful lunch outdoors, because this is like an area where you can have weddings and ceremonies and different things. And while we had lunch there, we were 100 yards from the temple.
So did they build that up because of being a hotspot?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Because it wasn't populated prior to that. And so, so they built that right on, I don't know that's necessarily the grounds, but it's right there. I mean, as we sat and ate, we could see it. And it is now a UNESCO site. Am I saying that right? A World Heritage Site that's protected. Cool. And so because of that, there were people there that made sure you didn't touch the Buddhas. But we did, and that it was only open certain amounts of time. You could only be up there for 2 hours. You couldn't be on the site for more than 2 hours at a time, because they also limited it to 200 people per 2 hours. Lots and lots of rules in order to protect it. And the other thing that they did, and you'll see, I brought them home. They're in the big suitcase. They gave us sandals to wear. So
I heard about the bamboo sandals.
They were horrifying. They were made out of bamboo. They were flat, and they had like this button that went between your toes, and they were uncomfortable. But here's my thought: I believe that they did that on purpose, because they don't want you running around. They don't want you jumping. They don't want you leaping from one to another or whatever. So I think that they did it on purpose so that you know. Yeah. I mean,
it's probably smart,
because I don't think that those sandals were better than my tennis shoes.
I could see also, extra tread. You know, Robert wears like really tready shoes, so I could see where that would be hard too.
Yeah, and but what happened at Bora of Badur is that I think that less than 10 of us made it all the way up.
How high is it? Because from the pictures, it doesn't look very high.
It's not very high. The problem is that it was built, everything was carved out of stone. And so the first step was probably 18 inches high. Oh. And then it might be 20 inches. It was climbing. I think the smallest step was maybe 12 inches, but they were humongous steps. No handrails. They weren't going to drill into that rock and put handrails. So it was a climbing event. Plus, it was raining at the time, so it was slippery. And so some people made it up to the first level, and then either they didn't make it any farther or you were okay. There's 4 levels, but the top level is totally roped off. Not roped off, but you can't go up there unless you're a monk. If you're a Buddhist monk, you're allowed up to nirvana level, but nobody else is. And but it was really, really nice. They had guides that were there that were not part of it. I mean, there was different people. Some were historians, some were locals, and then a few of them were monks that were really trying to teach you,
of course,
about Buddha and about Buddhism. I mean, spreading the word basically. And some people at first, I think, there's a lot of Christians. I mean, most of us were either Christian or Catholic. I think all of us were either Christian, Catholic, and so at first people are like, and our guy was explaining, no, it's still one God. I mean, and it was nice to have him explain, they don't worship Buddha. Buddha wasn't a god. Buddha was a messenger. And he said, just like Jesus, they believe in Jesus. They believe that there are multiple messengers that this one God sent down. And Buddha was just a teacher. And so he explained a lot of it to us because our guide was a Buddhist monk and he was absolutely fantastic. We really, really enjoyed it. So as we went up, what happened is the whole layer is all of these teachings, all of these stories, all of the lessons that Buddha would teach. And then we'd go up another layer, and then there was other lessons for, whatever level that you're at. And do you remember seeing
Jen did it.
Jen doing it? If I get this right, if you're Buddhist and you know what I'm trying to do, and if I get it wrong, be kind, because this is what I think that I remember that he and I had him, he repeated it multiple times, and I think I even have him, I videoed him doing it because I wanted to make sure that I got it right so I could explain it to everybody else. But he was explaining that what happens is that there's levels and that you are looking for enlightenment, that's the whole idea, and that what you do is first you pray for that your needs are met, but need without greed, because greed will promote that desire for excess will just lead you to believe that your happiness comes from things, not from within. So need without greed. Next is unconditional love and love for others as well as yourself, which can be hard, and that love without wrath or envy. And then third, and he said, and the hardest is conquering fear. Because he said fear is our biggest battle, because fear is what leads to emotional decision making versus conscientious, reasonable decision making, and that oftentimes fear is what brings us back down to greed and desire for things and anger with people and frustration with people and wrath, and that it all comes from fear. And once we've conquered all of those things and we've made it to enlightenment, then what happens is we have infinity, see our infinity symbol, and if we continue to practice that, this creates a lotus flower, which is their symbol for the soul, and then we are able to continue to foster that, which brings us peace from within and service to others.
That's cool.
I know. So I hope I got that right.
That's good.
I think I got, I kept repeating it. I said, oh, yes. And he says, then you have to add Hakuna Matata. Yes.
From the Lion King.
From the Lion King. And then he would burst into song. And he would do a little dance. And he was wonderful, but he was a happy man. And, that was his whole thing, is he just kept repeating as he would tell us these stories as we went up. And we were there for a little longer than 2 hours. In fact, we went down the backside because we didn't want to get caught that we were there for a while longer because our guide was so good. And that was his whole message through the whole thing, is just, that to be happy and to understand that you are enough and your life is exactly as it should be and exactly what it should be, and that contentment. Anyway, it was super, super fantastic. And that was the first place where, when we went down kind of the backside, that was where all those schoolgirls were. Oh. And had you told them about that? Did you tell them about the pictures? So what happened was, that was the first time that, and I think it was only our second time off the boat, because when we went to Singapore, we were in Singapore, and then we flew from Singapore to Bora of Badur, and then we met back up with the boat in Jakarta. But anyway, we went down the backside from Bora of Badur, and there were all of these kids that were there. And we saw all of these kids, and they were all kind of staring at us, and we didn't think much of it. I kept thinking we were wet because it was raining that day. And this woman came up, and so it was me, Brian, in his shorts without socks. He did have on sandals. People kept asking, and no, he did not wear his socks. So he had on sandals and his white legs, and John with his white legs, and Ray with his white legs. And I think that was all. It was just the four of us that were standing there. And this woman, and this, who was probably my age, and her son, who was probably in his, 20s or 30s, came up and said, and he spoke English, and he said, could my mother get her picture taken with you guys? And it's like,
sure,
yeah, I guess. Sure. And so he took a picture, and she was, smiling and stuff, and then she said something, and he said, oh, could she take a picture of me with you guys? And it's like, sure. And so then somebody else came up and said, well, do you both want to be in the picture? And so, they were just super excited. And then after we took the picture, I thought, in my head, I'm thinking, that's weird. Is it because of these men with these white legs and showing their legs? Is what I thought it was. I thought, I know.
FabriChat, right?
What's that?
Did they recognize you from YouTube? No?
No.
Well, who knows? You're in a place where they make fabric, people watch TV.
Yeah, no.
Right, okay, so
I don't think that was what it was. No, I was pretty sure that it was the men. And then all of a sudden, this group of schoolgirls, there was like 12 girls that came up, and they're all, like swarmed us. We kept calling them the swarm after that, because they said, oh, can we, and they're holding their picture, can we get a picture? Sure. So we're all standing, and they're taking pictures, and all of them, and they're giggling, and they want all these poses, and they do the peace sign, and then they were doing something else. Oh, they were blowing a kiss. And so, okay. So then they leave, and then all of a sudden more girls came, and this kept happening, and we couldn't figure it out. And then all of a sudden we see Lori and Kelly, because we're kind of trying to make our way around. We see Lori and Kelly, and you guys know Lori as Parker. Some of you guys already know her, and you've seen her before, and she has, and you saw her in the goodbye video, the breakfast video with the red hair. And her daughter, this beautiful white, pale porcelain, perfect skin, and this gorgeous red curly hair. And anyway, so we see them coming up, and so I like throw her to the wolves, and I go,
meet her, be my friend.
And they squealed. Oh! And they go running over, and Kelly's looking at him like, what is happening right now? I said, they want their picture taken with you. Oh, she says, oh, okay. And so anyway, so we're taking pictures, and this just kept going. And then as we are leaving, we see that out on the grass on the side where we were coming out, where we had eaten, there was probably 200 students. It was some sort of a field day for this school. And all of these girls, this guy was yelling because they were supposed to be taking this big, like, class picture or something. And they were all, yelling at us and waving, and we're waving back, and they're,
pure
yelling.
Distraction.
Absolute distraction. And this man is yelling. So we asked our guide, and it's like, what is happening? Why do they? And he says, oh, you are from and I'm sure that he said the Western world, and they don't see you here, and
it makes sense.
They and then he said something else, and he says, well, they're being naughty. And I thought, oh, they're being naughty because they're supposed to be paying attention. And so we thought, well, that was kind of fun, Well, then it kept happening everywhere we went. It kept happening, and we would get off the bus and start to walk to someplace. And when we went to the Sultan's garden, and as we're walking, just very conscious of the fact that everyone is staring and whispering, and they've got their phones up, and they're doing this as we're walking by. And I thought, what is happening? And the ones that were brave enough would come up and want pictures with us. And then
did any of them speak good enough English you could ask, why do you want a picture of me? Not that
no, most of them did not.
Sure.
But I think that I have it figured out, and what I think it is, did we talk about this on Sunday? Did we talk about the pictures? on Sunday, and the men. See, what's so funny is that I feel like I've repeated stories so much I don't want to repeat anything. But when we were in the Sultan's garden, a group of about 12 men came up and wanted their picture taken with me. And Brian is standing right there. And he came up and said, and at first I didn't understand what he was saying. And I said, take your picture? And because they couldn't speak English enough at all. And he says, no. And so he's making this and hand the phone to some guy. And it's like, oh, your picture with me. And same thing, they're making all of these, peace symbols. And I looked terrible. I mean, no makeup on, sweaty and rainy. And so it had nothing to do with that. And I dressed the same. I mean, I probably had like a tank top on, and jeans. So it wasn't anything weird at all. But, Brian's just standing there, watching like, whatever. I mean, he wasn't concerned. He knew who took me to the dance. So he was fine. But anyway, so we couldn't figure it out. But this is what I think. And again, I worry a little bit because I don't want it to sound racist or anything, or because I don't mean it that way at all. But I'm going to say that they all look the same. I mean, and what I mean by that is that we did not see any women that were extremely tall or extremely short. Mm-hmm. Those girls that were at Bora of Badur, they all had the same color of skin. They all had the same black hair. Mm-hmm. They wore the same uniform. They were all thin. There was no specific variation of them at all. I don't think that we saw a single local person that was overweight.
Sure.
There just wasn't any of that. So I think that when they saw us coming, there was one person that was shorter than me. There were many people that were way taller than me. We had red hair, blonde hair, gray hair, black hair,
shapes,
curly,
sizes,
short.
Colors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some of us.
You were probably definitely oddities.
We were. I think it was a circus, is what I think. I think they saw a circus of people that, how can all of these people...
how inland you were.
Yeah.
There's probably not a lot of people that just go for a visit.
Right.
Or go for vacation.
Right.
Or
and that was the main place when we were inland, when we were at Bora of Badur, which we had to take a plane to get there. Mm-hmm. We couldn't go anywhere without being and we were there for... 2 days, 3 days total between travel. We couldn't go anywhere without being kind of swarmed and have our picture taken.
Interesting.
So that's what I think it was, is I think that they don't see a lot of Americans. In fact, what was funny is when we were at the Sultan's Garden, there were these two gals that I saw somebody walked up to them and they're like almost offended. And then they're standing there watching while these guys are, I'm taking my picture with these guys. And then I walked over to them, and they're just looking at me, and I said, how long have you been in Bora of Badur? And they said, oh, this is our first day. And I said, well...
it will happen more than that.
It will happen. And I said, it's no big deal. They don't mean anything bad by it at all. I think they just are curious. And I think that with your blonde hair and your white skin, they're excited to see you. And I said, they're very...
it's like seeing a movie star,
They're
they're watching a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, they're very respectful, and they were very kind people. And
interesting.
Yeah, so it wasn't any big deal. So then, and then in fact, after we left, we were standing out there with their belts, and I saw they were taking their picture with people. So it was perfect.
My babies, I'm not sure would appreciate that.
No, and that's what I kept thinking.
Blue-eyed and
they would touch you just a little. It's like, to see if your skin felt different.
And we're tatted. That could be a problem.
Oh, that might be. Yeah.
How do you have pink skin?
Yeah. And
Robert's covered.
And
my hair's pink anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what we kept saying is that, could you imagine if Brianna came with her pink hair?
Pink hair.
I'm sure that's not something they do at all.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Interesting. So, I would have never thought. Thought that because America's so diverse. We have all sorts of shapes, sizes, colors. Yeah. And we change your hair. We do all sorts of things. Yeah. Whereas over there, it's probably certain things
They're all the same.
And I bet they do not tat their skin because it is not a good thing to. I
don't think they do.
Yeah.
No. So anyway, it was kind of...
the circus came to town.
Circus came to town.
Interesting.
It was very exciting. They really liked it. And then...
I'm disappointed you didn't have an Indiana Jones trek tail because I was excited.
I know. No, the closest to that Yeah, no, there was a lot of that because it was funny. Somebody had sent me a picture of some place in Bali that is like this sea of spiders or whatever.
Oh, no.
We didn't see spiders. We saw, I have a picture, and I don't think that my picture does it justice, but did I show you the picture of the
centipede things?
Well, no, the centipede things. Oh, here's the funny thing about that.
The
centipede at the Hoffman video, because Janet thought that they were caterpillars. And I thought, oh, how sweet, they're little butterflies. And then Rama said, no. He said they are not. He said they are millipedes.
Oh, millipedes.
And millipedes.
Sure.
And he said they are not indigenous to the island. And he said they probably came in on some ship or in some suitcase or whatever, and they have no natural predator because if you notice, they had a little yellow on them. And the birds think that means cyanide, so the birds don't eat them.
Bummer.
And they're everywhere. So then after we heard that, we were just stepping on them and creating crunchy madness everywhere. Ew. It was so bad. I kind of had to stop doing it. But no, I saw this grasshopper. So Dad, sweetheart that he is, he goes out to go to the bathroom, and because all the bathrooms are outside, nobody has indoor.
Sure.
I mean, even if you have plumbing, your bathrooms are not inside. They don't do that. But anyway, he went out and he came back and he says, you have to come and see this before it leaves. And I thought, oh, that's a man that knows me so well. It's either an animal or a bug. And so I went out and sure enough, I'll put in a picture, but you can't tell. But that grasshopper was probably that big.
Ooh.
It was massive, bright green.
Jurassic Park size.
It was.
Awful.
And I'm like a ways away from him going click, click. Think, how close can I get? I'm going to zoom in. And he's just kind of, and then all he did was at one point he kind of turned. And,
I'm done. I'm out. Sorry.
I don't know what's happening, lady. And then the driver came up and he said, we eat those. And I said, oh, no wonder he's scared. He said, yeah. And I said, please don't. Please.
I don't want to see that.
I said, well, I will not. But, so anyway, and then the other thing that was kind of funny, sort of a little paw thing that was kind of funny was that at Bora of Badur it was raining. And so there were these locals, I think, these men. The only thing they could say was $1, $1, $1. And they were trying to get us to rent umbrellas.
Oh.
And I didn't want one. But the reason I didn't want one, I was already wet. It was already raining. It totally didn't matter. The rain does not bother me. I don't particularly care for wind. But the rain, it didn't change the temperature. It was 90 degrees. And
hot rain, huh?
Yeah, so it totally didn't matter. It didn't make any difference at all. And I didn't want to hold the umbrella because I was holding my phone. Sure. And I was taking pictures. And so I didn't want it. And so Pa, being really sweet, thought, well, I'm going to get you an umbrella. It's like, I don't want that. And then...
You will have to hold it for me.
And then John saw that so John got me one. I don't want that. And then I think
you guys hold it for me.
I don't have these umbrellas. And so poor Pa is carrying around like 4 umbrellas. It's like, whatever. I don't want it. I'm fine. So
that's so nice.
Yeah, he's such a sweet man. He was really good. But yeah, no Indiana Jones momenty kind of stuff at all. But it was a beautiful place. So let's see, what were some of the other? I was going to try to. There's a couple questions that I took pictures of because I thought I might forget what they. So the religion thing, it's kind of a funny thing because it's not all the same. Mm-hmm. When we would land, there was one place, I think it was Long Kwai, that was 80% Muslim. Mm-hmm. And then another place would be 80% Buddhist. And another place would be 80% Taoist, Hindu. And those were the 3 primary religions that we saw were Muslim, Hindu, and Buddhist. Mostly Buddhist. Mm-hmm. But the funny thing about that is that wonderful people. There was no difference. I mean, wonderful people. It's funny that I think sometimes here, and I don't know if it's because of, the issues with Afghanistan and Iran and, 9/11 and some of those things that, sometimes if you see somebody that's a little bit different, you get a little bit nervous. But man, wonderful people. And they should not be judged by those offshoots of those other
the radical
religions that have nothing to do with them. Those people the Muslims pray 5 times a day, and it is mandatory. And so the funny thing about that is that everywhere we went, you would see more signs for prayer room than you would for bathrooms, because prayer room was the most important thing. And so we had asked our taxi driver if, well, what do you do? Because you've been with us for 5 hours. So, what do you do when you have to pray at noon? And the other times he says, oh, I still do. He said every place. And then we started noticing that sure enough, when we were at the Pearl Factory, back out around, here, the bathrooms are here and there's the prayer room. And so it might not be exactly at noon if he's doing something, but as soon as he gets to where he's going, he leaves us to do what we do, and he goes and they pray. Wow. And in fact, the taxi cab driver, what happened with that was that, and that was actually in Lombok. So I had been getting car sick. I'm not great for overland treks so much, and so I'd been getting car sick. And so the day that we landed in Lombok, at first I thought, I'm not even going to get off the boat. And then I thought, well, that's kind of not very fun. I really wanted to go to the Songkat factory. And so we thought, well, we'll just get a cab and we'll just to go there, because everybody else was going to do a whole tour of the island and all of the stuff. And it's like, oh, I can't do that again. So we went out and we got this taxi cab driver, and they're barraging you, taxi. And so we said, well, we just need an English speaking one. And so we got this guy. His name was Sunny. He's been doing it for 20 years, and he was Muslim. And it was really, really nice because he was willing to share a lot of information with us. Good. And he was the one that was telling us a lot of stuff, because we asked questions about, well, your kitchens, are all of your kitchens outdoor kitchens? And he said, yeah, pretty much, because they have, he was the one that was explaining so many things that I think I even added to like the Hoffman video, that it's all outdoor, open air conditioning, as I think what they call it. So people do not have windows. They have open areas, they have grates, they might have curtains across their doors, but they don't have, things aren't locked up. They don't have indoor bathrooms. They oftentimes share a lot of that kind of stuff. And their kitchens are also outdoor. And a lot of it is because they share so much. So then we had asked him, well, what about, stealing, or crime? And he kind of didn't know that word. And so then we said, well, theft, stealing. Steal? And he says, oh, steal? And no, not steal. And it's like, well, if the food is yours, but I take it. And he says, oh, of course, absolutely. If you needed food, all of us, we all take care of each other. It's like, no, that's not what I mean. And we couldn't get him to understand. And then finally, I think Lori said it some way that he understood what she meant, and about people taking. And he said, oh, no, it's just not an issue. And then you think about that, and you think, if this is a community where, I'm not kidding, every single block there was a mosque. Yeah. Every block. I have one picture where in the picture there are 5 that you can see from where we were sitting. And these people, and they pray, and they are so devout. Whether or not you agree with their religion is irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Sure. And no judgment, whatever. But they are devout people, and there is no crime. They don't, if it doesn't belong to you, you don't take it. And then the Buddhist people, it's the same thing. Both the Muslim people and the Buddhist people, they both said the same thing, that they go to the store every single day. They only buy what they need for that day, and then they share everything. If somebody needs something, it doesn't matter. When we were walking, our taxi cab driver took us to a local market. So we wanted to see a local market where only the locals go to. We wanted to, because, we do that. We like to go to grocery stores and, see weird things. So he took us to a local market, and then he took us to his house so that we could see his house, which was really, really nice. And when we were on our way to the market, this woman came up behind us that was probably in her 90s. And you could tell, she was out, I think she was the one maybe that was out selling peanuts, because we had asked him about like Social Security or pension, and is that something, does the government help take care of you? And he said, absolutely not. You have to work. And if you don't work, you have to hope that somebody can help you. And so anyway, this woman, he turned around without missing a beat at all and handed her money.
Wow.
And didn't take any peanuts or anything, but it was clear that she needed some help, and they just take care of each other. But anyway, super, super nice people.
Well,
between the all of them, just kind, helpful, happy, giving, and then and that leads to, so there was 2 questions. I was going to answer 2 questions. One was about the religion, and the other one was about how much money they make, because I must have said somewhere in there that they make $3 a day.
I think you said that at the Hoffman tour.
At the Hoffman thing. So the economy is very, 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 very different. Our dollar goes a very long way, and that might seem harsh, that they make $3 for a day of work, but in their economy, that's right for them. And the funny thing was with this taxi driver specifically, because he was the one that we had the most conversation with, because he was driving so slow. I had told him I had a tummy ache, and that was why he was like, just putt. Aww. He was so sweet. Very, very sweet man. But anyway, so we said to him, it's like, gosh, we're paying your boss $100 for this ride today, for you to take us out, and you get $3 of that? And he said, yes, And so we asked him, well, doesn't that bother you? And he said, absolutely not. Not at all. No. He said, I am happy, so lucky to have this job, and I work for $3, and I don't question what he does with the rest of the money. This is his car, it's his gas, he has all I do is drive, and I spend my time with you, and the $3 is helps to take care of my family. And he was happy.
Beautiful way of thinking about that.
Yes, he didn't think for one moment. And again, it's that whole need without greed. That he wasn't, and without envy, love without envy, to not worry about what somebody else got. What he needed was $3 a day, and if he could work every day for $3, then that was good for him. Hoffman pays a tiny bit more than that. And the other thing that Hoffman did, I don't know if I left it in there, but they also have opportunities for you to go home and see your family. Because sometimes what happens is people travel to where the work is.
Sure.
And this particular taxi cab driver, he didn't always get to make it home because he didn't have a vehicle. And there isn't a local bus system or whatever. And so he would be out there if the cruise ships were coming in. He would sleep in the park.
Oh, sure. And work every day until the ship leaves.
Work every day. And then he would somehow find a ride to be able to get back home. But then he'd have to find his way back again.
Wow.
And when he wasn't driving taxis, he would drive construction because that was the other job. And then the other thing is that the women, they don't work the same way. And this was true in pretty much all of the areas, all of the islands and countries that we visited, was that what was different in Thailand, but in Bali and in Indonesia, they don't feel like women should be subjected to bartering or dealing with money and worrying about money, and that women should not have to be nice to another man in the workplace. It's kind of not okay. So if I were working in a storefront and some man came in, it would not be okay, really, for me to be all
nice,
sweet and pleasant. And so they don't do that. And so that's why most of the employment opportunities, aside from nursing, teaching, and then there was something else. Oh, service industry, if cleaning, doing hotel work or cooking. Other than that, all of the jobs are pretty much intended for men. And that was why they have to pay for their education. School is not free. And they pay for their girls to go to school. Because the way for their girls to do better is to become a teacher. Or to become a nurse. And so that's what they do. Yeah, and the boys will go to school usually until about 6th grade, and then they get
So did you ask, how did your taxi driver learn how to speak English?
Practice. He said he just, from driving cab and just learning and learning and learning.
Wow.
And then one of our guys, the guide that I showed the video of that was explaining the offerings, he learned from music.
Oh, cool.
He would learn, he sang a Rod Stewart song for us. It was so sweet. And so he would learn a song and then learn the words of that song. And then every day he had some friend, an American that he met, and this American would teach him an American song, an English song
Wow.
every day. And every day he would learn a new song, and then he would learn the words to it and understand, the translation. Because it was typically a song that he knew.
Sure.
But he knew it in different words. So that was how he learned English.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a
but
good
they
way.
didn't have, they don't have, university is typically not there.
Right.
They have to go away for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but Malaysia was really pushing towards English and for people to know that, because they really are trying to get into all of the, Samsung is Malaysian and
Sure.
Sony. Well, no, I think Sony is Japan. But anyway, they're doing a lot of that. So they're pushing the English language. But anyway, let's see. So maybe that created way more questions. But anyway, finances and how much they make and their homes and
Yeah.
I think that was all of those. Yeah, religion. Oh, and then we did when we went to Sonny was our taxi cab driver when we went to his house. We got to meet his kids. Everywhere we went, we were a bit of a spectacle.
Sure.
And so in their houses, their houses are about 24 by 24, teeny tiny. I think I have a little video. He had a refrigerator, which
is that something you don't usually have?
No, they typically do not have refrigerators because they don't store food.
Oh, they probably don't. Right.
There's no need to. It would almost make them seem like a hoarder to store food.
Right.
So, but he did have one. There was nothing in it, but he had it. But they eat rice 3 times a day. He had a little side garden. Everybody has like a little garden. And he had some chickens. But again, I got the impression that the garden is the garden. You
Sure.
pick what you need.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the chickens. You skinny chickens.
If you need it.
If you need it, you take a chicken. But
That's cool.
anyway, yeah. So anyway, just a lovely, lovely people that just really make you think about your life and, what's important and what's really not important. And, and just such devout people. I don't think we met anybody that wasn't just extremely spiritual and
wow. It's kind of cool. I mean, going to what we would say a third world country and just realize even with the little they have compared to us, how happy and thankful and so different from how America probably views to them. I mean, I don't know how they see us.
I think they think that every American is rich.
Because of our gluttony.
And greed. Yeah. And so because that was the other thing that would happen if it wasn't, the countries that wanted pictures with us, the others, it was, they wanted to sell us something. And,
sure.
They, I don't know. I don't know.
Cool.
The other thing too is I don't know what sort of news they get. And what they see.
That's what I would wonder is how are we portrayed elsewhere? I mean, I don't know. I think it probably couldn't be good, but who knows?
The things that make the news in the U.S. are not good. So if you're choosing from any of those are not our best stories. But but what's funny, and I think I don't know if I mentioned this on Sunday or not, or I just told you guys, but Facebook is blocked.
I had told them that we were having hard times communicating because we couldn't message things through Facebook. Texting wasn't really working for us, so you could only upload things to YouTube and eventually sometimes call. So I had told them that things were cut off and you couldn't get use of them.
Yeah, it's all blocked. They're not going to deal with any of that kind of stuff, and social media has a lot of problems.
Yeah, there's a lot of negative. There's a lot of good, but there's just as much negative.
But you think about the things that they don't want a part of. That they don't want that part of: judgment, greed, envy. It makes sense why they don't want any Instagram, no Facebook, none of that kind of thing. So. Anyway, it was. I want. Oh, this was the other question. Is and a lot of you guys have emailed me also. Even Diane Polin asked also, when are you going back? So we are definitely going back. We probably should kind of try to get it on the books just a little bit, but we just have to decide when, because I want to go back. I want to spend longer, and I almost think instead of doing like the cruise was kind of nice because you had a home base where you could go back and eat a burger, or whatever you want. It wasn't really a burger, but I mean, it could have been. I just didn't go to that place to eat
the
burgers,
American part. Mm-hmm.
No, but where you could have kind of a home base. But the hotels that we stayed in were absolutely amazing. I mean, world-class 5-star hotels we kind of looked it up because we kept looking up the rupiah, so this one that we were staying in that was just amazing. Did you show the video that I sent you of the Komodo dragon?
No.
We'll add that to the end. Pa, of course, who's sitting out on the veranda, of our room, comes in. You have to come out. Oh, no. That wasn't where he was. He was walking outside. I think he was in search of coffee. And then he, of course, ran back to the room, came out in the room. He goes, you have to come and see this. Get your phone. And so, of course, it's either a bug or an animal. And so we go out there, and it was this Komodo dragon.
He was
Massive. And so we take this little video as he's looking at us, darting out his tongue, and he decides to swim off. And, we're sort of not really chasing him. But
you have the tune playing in your head. Dumb ways to die. I was like, oh no, he's going away.
I know. So we're showing him this video. It's like, they bite. They eat cows. And it's like, oh, sorry.
They will take you out.
Yeah. He was luring us to the water where a roll
Easy
was going to happen. I don't know. I stopped filming when I saw him approaching the bird. And it's like, oh, I don't want to see that happen. So anyway, what was my point going to be? Oh, I know what it was. Is that I think that that's what we should do, is we should just go to the areas we want. And because every area that we visited, I wish we could stay there an extra day.
Yeah. And obviously the prices, because you told us like the first time, that very first video we saw you were staying at this beautiful hotel for like, it was like $35.
It was like $35 American. Right. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was what my point was going to be. Beautiful 5-star international,
and we saw your breakfasts. My lordy,
nice. They are so nice, and they need the tourism. They need us to stay. And if we stayed there, even just the little things that I wanted to see. I mean, I went out in search of a rice paddy, they were everywhere, and so I've
never seen one. I'd love to see one and how you harvest a rice paddy. I feel like I have it all figured out.
I have a little video. I'll show you the video. But yeah, and they all work in it. And so I went out there and I had a bunch of questions, but the person that I was talking to, he's just looking at me like,
I don't know what you're saying.
Watch where you're walking. It's filled with water.
Sure, yeah.
And they're all out there harvesting, but again, they only take what they need. Typically they were everywhere. It's almost like vacant lots. You'd see houses, rice paddy, rice paddy.
Interesting.
And then they all use them. And then not that there aren't other people who have their plots and they raise it, and they sell it, and that's what their job is, and their family does that. But anyway, it was super interesting. So all of those, and the fruit, the papaya, because we were looking so many of those coconut trees. It's like, oh, that's a coconut. No, they all looked the same after a while. 48 different varieties of bananas. Wow. And they were so good. The fried bananas. Remember, that's my favorite thing in Hawaii.
Yeah, our fried plantains.
Oh, they do it different in Indonesia. They flatten them, and then they bread them, and it's all rice flour.
Oh.
And then they fry it, and it's just like candy. It was so good. Super, super good. So anyway, so we have to talk about it. We have to figure it out, because I think that we need to have like 4 different places. Fly, stay here for 3 days, stay here for 3 days, stay here. In places where all of the hotels that we stayed at had restaurants.
Sure.
And we could eat there or whatever, and then go out and have our excursions from there and see the boutique. And because you'll see when we do the suitcase opening, we'll talk about the Songcat and the iCat. Because it's funny, because iCat fabric is not necessarily my favorite. I'm going to admit right away that I don't particularly, it just seems so, if you know what iCat is, it's this funny weaving pattern that it looks blurry to me. It doesn't look right to me. But I saw real iCat, and they call it eCat, not iCat, but, and Songcat, and it's all weaving, and it's beautiful. It's really, really pretty. So I hope you like what we...
I haven't seen the real stuff. I just know what we can get.
Yeah. So anyway, going there, and there's so many things where you can actually You can do the weaving, you can do the painting,
cool.
you can do the batiking. They really want to share what they do. They take coconut bark, and that's how they make baskets.
Oh, sure.
And so just all of that stuff, they're happy to demonstrate all of those things. So anyway, so yes, we're going back. Not sure when. Have to figure out when.
Maisie's got to get a little bigger.
Maisie's got to get bigger.
Got a couple years.
And we've got to practice touching. Touching them. So, but also I think if we're not on all of the planes, trains, and automobiles and boats, and if we just go to different areas, I think that'll be a little bit nicer. And then, of course, the other question was people were really worried about the Hoffman fabric that, I think I've already gotten 24 emails.
I
Save me
wish
some.
I was going to try to have it on there so you guys could pre-order it, but I couldn't find our invoice to know how much of the colors that we got, and I couldn't get good images. I could take pictures of these, but it just didn't do it justice. So I'm waiting for, at least the shipment should be here
any minute,
momentarily.
Yeah, this week or next week.
And hopefully we can see it better, and then we'll know exactly how much I have, because I could not tell you what we ordered when we ordered it. I got nothing.
See, and what I remember, I mean, we ordered a lot.
You have to order a lot.
We did order a lot because because we did.
That's how you play the game.
Yeah. And so because no one else can use this chop. This is my copywritten chop. Mm-hmm. So not that I'm the only one that's ever come up with sagebrush, but this particular sagebrush you can only get from us.
That's really
and
cool.
There's plenty of it because I must have left in that, don't worry, you guys will get it first or whatever. We did that for, of course, our people. We are sending them an email of all of the different notions that I demonstrated.
They don't have the link either.
Yeah, they don't have it yet either. We haven't done that yet. But so that they can add that and they can order. But we are not going to run out. We will run out of it. But not super instantly. Mm-hmm. So you'll be fine. But those of you who have emailed me,
I
got you. It's okay. But anyway, so no worries. We have a lot of it coming. I mean, by a lot, I think that we did like a minimum of like 8 bolts.
8 bolts. Yeah.
15 yard bolts.
So there's plenty to share.
Yeah, you're fine. Even Marge was nervous.
She was.
Am I going to get some? Yes. Everyone will. Yeah. Everyone who wants it will get it, so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think we have yacked for forever. I'm sorry. I hope it wasn't super long, but I thought some of the fun little... I just can't say enough how much I loved it. I think that the only thing that would have made it better is if you guys were with us. I was super sad. But every single day something happened that I thought,
good. Yeah. You just never know.
Yeah. Because the other thing is that their dogs, one of our guides, I think it was Yuder, said that, that's one thing that's uniquely different between Buddhists and Christians is that they believe in reincarnation. Mm-hmm. And they believe that your time on earth is spent to learn whatever it is you're supposed to learn so that you can eventually remain as a heavenly body. And that you have to just maybe keep relearning the same thing over and over or whatever until you get it right. And that there's a likelihood that you might have to come back as a snake or a bird or whatever. And that's why they're very tender to all living creatures. All living creatures. Every bug, everything. To everything, they are respectful to all living creatures. And so, anyway, he was saying that his mom used to say, Yuder, you will in your next life you will be a dog. You are coming back as a dog because he was apparently very naughty. He was a boy. And he said that would be fine if he came back as an American dog. And I said, you're not wrong about that. Not wrong about that. So so anyway, because their dog's pretty thin.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard. Maybe my kids wouldn't understand. All of my kids love animals, like even Maisie. And so they probably wouldn't understand why you can't go touch that dog or go play with those puppies. We saw Hoffman. There would have been tears because they couldn't go play with the puppies.
Yeah, and it just isn't the same. I mean, the animals don't come in the house. I mean, again, they're very kind to the animals, but they don't come in the house.
They're not like a house pet.
They're not a house pet. They kind of belong to no one.
Sure.
They just kind of community dogs and, but anyway. Anyway, lots of reasons why your kids need to be prepared. We maybe need to go down to Tijuana a couple times first.
Yeah,
and see
that would
how
be a
goes.
good little test too. Sure.
Yeah, but anyway. All right, so we will soon. Here's little Miss.
She's done with that big sister.
Done. We'll film our suitcase opening so that the kids can get their presents, and then watch for that maybe
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, and then we'll do box opening tonight.
Yeah.
Box opening tonight.
All right,
you guys.
See you later. Bye.
Thank you for watching our video. We invite you to leave a comment, hit the like button, or better yet, subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. You can also visit our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Pinterest pages, or find all of those things and our online store at FabricPatch.net. Okay, we're sneaking up on... Where did he go? Did he go over there? No, he's right there. Hey, you here for an apple? Okay, get by me and get a picture. He's gonna run. He is a sexy beast. Lost him.